Do you know what the hormone pathways actually look like and why your HRT clinic, especially as a female, might be getting it wrong? Many people don't know this, but excess estrogen in the system can actually create anxiety. There are three different types of estrogen that can be produced in the body, and one of them is actually toxic. It is more likely to create different types of female cancers, but also more likely to create anxiety. But an abundance of estrogen can also create anxiety, particularly if your liver isn't functioning as well as it should. And when we look at hormone replacement therapy, particularly in women, we should be paying special attention to this. Now, there's really only a couple of tests that can test how much of your total estrogen is going down the wrong pathway, but it might be worth knowing, especially if you're, let's say, a 28-year-old female who's been told she has zero testosterone, has enough estrogen and progesterone, and is being put on testosterone replacement. So let's talk about that pathway. So you have DHEA sulfate, and it goes with cholesterol to make pregnenolone, which then goes to testosterone, which then gets aromatized into estrogen. That's how it works. So cholesterol, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen. If we know the person has enough estrogen, or maybe they have too much estrogen and not enough testosterone, why wouldn't we start by giving them something that inhibits aromatization of testosterone into estrogen? So you might ask, what are those foods? They happen to be cruciferous vegetables, things like stinging nettle, and grapefruit. Cruciferous vegetables also come in a supplement called DIM and or sulforaphane. And both of those can prevent testosterone from being turned into estrogen. Another thing we definitely have to look at is lifestyle. If you have that same 28-year-old who binge drinks every single weekend, is taking a combination of Adderall and MJ, and isn't sleeping, testosterone replacement probably isn't her answer. Inhibiting estrogen production may be actually helpful, but you have to talk about the reasons why she's doing those other things first. Another thing, most of the time, what we start to see is a change in gut function, which this woman has experienced. And that change in gut function, when we look at it, is a not optimized thyroid. So if you're doing hormone replacement therapy and you're not looking at the thyroid and you can't tell whether or not the gut works, you are not helping the person with their mood or their sleep or their motivation level, because testosterone replacement on its own isn't doing the job. These people are suffering because they're starting to have subclinical hypothyroidism, which actually creates number one symptom that most people miss altogether: constipation. Why is that important? The neurotransmitters for the immediate hit of I feel happy and the sustained I am a happy human being are produced in the gut. If you're constipated, those aren't getting produced appropriately. So your dopamine, 50% of it is produced in the brain. 50% of it is produced in your gut. That's your immediate hit. That's why you're scrolling TikTok. 95% of your serotonin is produced in the gut. That is the long-term I feel good. That is the long-term my mood is stable. If your gut doesn't work, you don't have that, and you struggle to stay happy, and you're constantly looking for dopamine hits, and you exhaust your dopamine receptors. Dopamine and serotonin are just like every other neurotransmitter and hormone in your body, including GLP-1s, insulin, leptin, ghrelin, estrogen, testosterone, you can become resistant over time. Those receptors get constantly hit and then become resistant. And so they stop accepting the molecule that they need to get you where you want to be. If you're one of those people who has been doom scrolling TikTok and you're not sure why, because you're still not experiencing everyday joy in your life, I'm going to encourage you to have your thyroid checked, to get your gut in order and start pooping every day, and also to take a 48-hour break from all electronic devices. Your computer, lights in your house, not joking. You can have a nightlight if you need it to walk around at night, but nothing more. Your phone, your laptop, your iPad, your music even. Try and be as silent as possible for 48 hours and give those dopamine receptors a chance to become sensitive again. It will change everything about your day on day 3 after your 48 hours of silence. You can't make it through 48? Okay, fine. Do 24. And the only thing you're allowed to do in that 24 hours is go for a walk a couple times a day and eat normal food. No sugar, no caffeine, no hits to the dopamine system. Just fruits, vegetables, meats. That's it. And see if you don't feel a little bit better the next day.